The Reds take on the Pirates, 6:35 Eastern Standard Time. The Cincinnati Reds are minus a $1.80, totals 8.5. Luis Castillo for Cincinnati. Will Crow for Pittsburgh. We're 4-0 in our last four Major League Baseball tier package picks on BrockPage.com. And the good news is we have another Major League Baseball tier package pick going off here this evening. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website. And once again, that's BrockPage.com. We're also 6-0 in our last six crowd pleaser teasers on that very same webpage. We finished the month of September with over 850 members who were signed up and active on that site. So once again, if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on this channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website. And once again, that's BrockPage.com. Now, Will Crow's 4-8 with a 5.77 ERA and a 1.63 WHIP. The last place Pirates have triple-digit losses on the season. They're also dead last in scoring on average per game. They're taking on a Cincinnati club who won 4 out of their last 6. And they played pretty well against divisional opponents. The Reds are 42-31 against the NL Central. They're in the top 10 in scoring on average per game. Nick Castellanos is batting .310 with 33 home runs and 97 RBI. The outfielders also in the top 10 in both batting average and OPS. Cincinnati's got Luis Castillo on the bump here today as well. He struck out 187 batters this year. Now, total-wise, the Reds went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games, 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Pirates. Give me Cincinnati minus 180 in the over 8.5. Next ball game, Red Sox Nationals, 7:05 Eastern start time. The Boston Red Sox are minus $2, totals 9. Eduardo Rodriguez for Boston, Josh Rogers for Washington. Now, Rogers is 2-1 in just under 30 innings of work. The lefty's got a 2.73 ERA and a 1.21 WHIP. This Nationals lineup is also in the top 5 in hits per game. Juan Soto is batting .318 with 29 homers and 94 ribbies. The left fielder's second in the big leagues in both batting average and OPS. They're taking on a Boston team who pretty much got cold at the wrong time. Losers of 5 out of their last 6 ball games. They're also in the bottom 3 in the league in hits allowed per contest. They have Eddie Rodriguez on the hill. He's got a 4.93 ERA and a 1.39 WHIP. When it comes to the total in this one, Boston went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. 3-0 to the under in their last 3 on the road. I'm going to lean toward Washington plus 1.5 and the under 9. Next game, Rays, Yankees, 7:05 Eastern start time. The New York Yankees are minus 130, totals 8.5. Nestor Cortez for the Yankees, Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay. Now, the Rays have already clinched the division and lost 2 out of their last 3. This Rays lineup is also striking out 9.7 times a game on the road. They're taking on a Yankees club who won 8 out of their last 9 themselves. And their pitching staff strikes out 10.2 batters a game on their home field. Nestor Cortez has just 2 losses and over 88 innings of work, 2.85 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP. The lefties also struck out 98 batters. Now, total-wise, 2 out of the Yankees' last 4 home games did get over the number. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay's 24-11 to the over in their divisional road games. Give me the New York Yankees minus 130 and the over 8.5. Next matchup, Orioles, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus 305, numbers 10. Steven Matz for Toronto, no confirmed starter yet for Baltimore. But regardless of who throws out the first pitch for the Orioles here, they've won 4 out of their last 7 contests, and they cashed in on the run line in their last 3 straight road games. Cedric Mullins is batting .295 with 30 home runs. He's in the top 20 in both batting average and OPS. Meanwhile, Ryan Mountcastle, he's hit 33 home runs and knocked in 89. Now they're taking on a Toronto club who lost 5 out of their last 8 themselves, and they're ranking the bottom 10 in offensive walks at the plate. The Blue Jays have also struggled to cash in on the run line at home. They're just 14-21 against the number in their divisional home games. Steven Matz also comes into today's contest with a 1.35 whip. When it comes to the total in this one, 8 out of Toronto's last 10 ball games fell under the number. Baltimore's 8-2 to the under in their last 10 as well. Give me Baltimore plus 1.5 in the under 10. Next matchup, Phillies, Marlins, 7:10 Eastern start time. Both teams are minus $1.10, total 7. Ranger Suarez for the Phillies, Sandy Alcantara for Miami. Despite some really good numbers out of Sandy, he still comes into today's ball game with a 9-14 record. The Marlins are currently 29 games below 500, and they've struggled at the plate all season long. The Fish are averaging only 3.8 runs a game. They're taking on a Phillies team who ranks in the top 10 in the majors in striking batters out, despite their recent skid. Ranger Suarez is 7-5 with a 1.45 ERA and a 1.00 whip. And when it comes to the total in this one, Philadelphia is 42-36 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, the Marlins saw their last 3 straight at Lone Depot Park get over the line. Give me the Philadelphia Phillies minus $1.10 in the over 7. Next game, Mets, Braves, 7:20 East. The Braves are minus 160, totals 8.5. Huascar Ynoa for Atlanta, Tyler McGill for New York. McGill's got 93 strikeouts and just over 84 innings of work. The Mets have won 3 out of their last 4 ball games, and they're in the top 5 in fewest hits allowed per contest. They're taking on an Atlanta team who's probably still hungover after clinching the division, and even when they're seeing the ball straight, the Braves still rank in the bottom 10 in strikeouts at the plate. Despite some pretty good outings out of Huascar Ynoa this season, the righty's still coming into today's ball game with a 4-5 record. Now, total-wise, Atlanta's 21-14 to the over in their divisional home games. They're also 47-29 to the over in all of their contests at Truist Park. I'm going to lean toward the New York Mets plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next ball game, Indians, Rangers, 8:05 East. The Cleveland Indians are minus $1.20, totals 9. Eli Morgan for Cleveland, Spencer Howard for Texas. Howard's 0-4 on the season with the Rangers, 7.04 ERA and a 1.57 whip. The last place Rangers have triple-digit losses on the season, and they score only 3.8 runs a game. They're taking on a Cleveland squad who won 4 out of their last 8 themselves, and they're in the top 10 in fewest road hits allowed. Eli Morgan's got himself a 1.25 whip, and he averages nearly a strikeout an inning. And speaking of strikeouts, the Indians are also in the top 10 in striking batters out on the road. And when it comes to the total in this one, 6 out of Cleveland's last 10 meetings with Texas fell under the line. Meanwhile, the Rangers are 44-34 to the under at Globe Life Field. Give me the Cleveland Indians minus $1.20 in the under 9. Next ball game, A's, Astros, 8:10 p.m. Eastern start time. Houston's minus $1.55, totals 8.5. Framber Valdez for Houston, Sean Manaea for Oakland. Now, Manaea's got himself double-digit victories on the season, 3.94 ERA and a bunch of strikeouts. As a matter of fact, the lefties fanned 188 batters, along with a 1.22 whip. This Oakland pitching staff is in the top 3 in the majors in fewest walks allowed. They're taking on a Houston club who already clinched the division, and in addition to that, they've dropped 5 out of their last 7 ball games. And oddly enough, as good as their pitching staff is, the Astros rank in the bottom 10 in walks allowed per 9. Now, total-wise, Houston's 46-27 to the over in their divisional contests. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Oakland. I'm going to lean toward the A's plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next ball game, Tigers, White Sox, 8:10 p.m. East. The Chicago White Sox are minus 260, totals 8.5. Lance Lynn for Chicago, Willie Peralta for Detroit. Peralta's got just 4 losses on the year, along with a 3.08 ERA. The Tigers have also cashed in on the run line in 7 out of their last 10 ball games, 3-1 against the number in their last 4 on the road. They're taking on a Chicago team who already clinched the division. They're also just 17-19 against the number in their divisional home games. When it comes to the total in this one, 6 out of Chicago's last 10 meetings with Detroit did get over the number. Meanwhile, the Tigers are 18-17 to the over against the AL Central on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Detroit Tigers plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next ball game, Twins, Royals, 8:10 p.m. East. Both teams are minus $1.10, totals 9.5. John Gant for Minnesota, John Heasley for Kansas City. Heasley's got a 3.86 ERA and a 1.18 whip through very limited action. The Royals have won 6 out of their last 10 ball games, and they're in the top 5 in home hits. Salvador Perez leads the majors in both home runs and RBI. The catcher slammed 48 home runs and knocked in 121. This Royals lineup is also in the top 3 in fewest home strikeouts at the plate. They're taking on a last-place Minnesota club who lost 3 out of their last 5, and they also rank in the bottom 5 in runs allowed. John Gant's just 5-10 on the season with Minnesota, and he continues to have control issues. The righty's walked 69 batters and has a whip of 1.47. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Minnesota's last 3 road games got over the line, 22-14 to the over in all of their divisional road games. Meanwhile, the Royals saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Minnesota get over the total themselves. Give me the Royals minus $1.10 and the over 9.5. Next contest, Cubs, Cards, 8:15 Eastern first pitch. The St. Louis Cardinals are minus 210, total 7.5. Dakota Hudson for the Cards, Albert Alzolay for Chicago. Now, Alzolay's got a 1.16 whip and 126 strikeouts. The righty's averaging over a strikeout an inning for Chicago. The Cubbies are on a 2-game winning streak, and they're also 20-14 against the number in their divisional road games. They're taking on a Cardinals squad who already clinched a playoff berth, and despite their incredible run over the past month or so, the Cards still have a losing home record against divisional opponents. St. Louis is just 17-18 against the NL Central at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals lineup is also scoring just 3.7 runs a game on their home field. Now, total-wise, St. Louis went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games. Chicago's seen 8 out of their last 10 get over the line themselves. Give me the Chicago Cubs plus 1.5 and the over 7.5 runs. Next contest, Rockies, D-backs, 9:40 p.m. East. The Colorado Rockies are minus 120, totals 9. John Gray for Colorado, Humberto Castellanos for Arizona. And somehow, some way, the last place Diamondbacks do actually rank in the top 10 in the league in home hits per contest. Now, they're taking on a Colorado team who lost 7 out of their last 10 themselves, and they win only 30% of their divisional road games. As a matter of fact, this Colorado lineup is dead last in the majors in hits per contest on the road. They also have John Gray on the mound, who's 8-12 with a 4.28 ERA and a 1.32 whip. Total-wise, 6 out of Colorado's last 10 meetings with Arizona did get over the number. I'm going to lean toward the Arizona Diamondbacks plus $1 in the over 9. Next game, Padres Giants, 9:45 Eastern start time. San Francisco's minus 160, totals 8. Anthony DeSclafani for San Francisco, Joe Musgrove for San Diego. Now, Musgrove's just one loss shy of double-digit losses for the season. The Pods have also lost their last 6 straight. They went only 3-16 in their last 19 ball games. They're taking on a Giants team who clinched a playoff spot, but still needs to win this series to hang on to the division and clinch the division as well. Now, they're currently 2 games ahead of the Dodgers, so a Giants win and a Dodgers loss will do the trick. The Giants are also playing some really good baseball right now. 6-game winning streak, 8-1 straight up in their last 9. The San Francisco pitching staff walks fewer batters per 9 than any other team in baseball. Anthony DeSclafani's 12-7 with a 3.26 ERA and a 1.10 WHIP. The righties also struck out 149 batters. Now, total-wise, the Giants are 21-14 to the over in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, the Pods are 21-14 to the over in their divisional road games themselves. Give me San Francisco minus 160 in the over 8. Next game, Brewers, Dodgers, 10:10 p.m. East. LA's minus 230, totals 8. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, Eric Lauer for Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee's already clinched the NL Central. They lost 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they also posted a record of just 4-7 straight up in their last 11. This Milwaukee lineup's in the bottom 10 in hits on average per game. They're taking on a Dodgers club who's still in the mix to win the division, as I just said. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they also got the W in 15 out of their last 18. This Dodger pitching staff allows fewer hits per contest than any other team in the bigs. Clayton Kershaw has got double-digit victories along with 143 strikeouts. The lefty's also got a 3.38 ERA and a very impressive .99 WHIP. Now, total-wise, LA's 47-31 to the under at Dodger Stadium. Meanwhile, the Brewers went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5 in the under 8. With that, guys, now it's time for our next and final matchup. It is going to be Angels versus the Mariners, 10:10 p.m. Eastern first pitch. Seattle's minus 160, total 7.5. Marco Gonzalez for the Mariners, Jose Suarez for the Angels. Suarez comes into this matchup with a 3.86 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP. The Angels are also playing the role of spoiler, as Seattle's playoff hopes are still very much alive. And speaking of the Mariners, they still have grave concerns at the plate. Their lineup is still dead last in the majors in hits on average per game. As a matter of fact, they're averaging just 6.7 hits per contest on their home field. Marco Gonzalez comes into today's start with a 4.00 ERA. When it comes to the total on this one, Seattle went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. LA's 20-15 to the under in their divisional road games. Give me the LA Angels plus 1.5 and the under 7.5 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. And if you guys do end up getting a membership here today, just keep in mind we utilize the Patreon platform. Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So this is a max value day in a max value month. There's 31 days in the month of October, and today is October 1st, man. So this is your absolute best value signing up on the first of the month. I always tell folks in every video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. So once again, guys, if you end up getting a membership here today, you're going to get billed today, and then you're not going to get billed again until November 1st. You're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of October. It is a max value Friday here. Now, guys, that's going to do it for me. Gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.